Hi there, welcome to Wyckoff Technical Analysis session for Casper. Last week we already talked about Casper is just doing its countdown work towards its breakout, and this week it's continuing the path basically without interruption. So let's again take a look at both the weekly and daily time frame and see what's happening with Casper. This is the weekly chart over here, and last week we've drawn these well, basically probably before last week we've drawn a couple of lines, and we've also looked into this little box. It's basically a downtrend over the past 10 weeks, and we talk about the potential breakout either this week or the coming week, because that's where this box is heading towards. You see this, let me enlarge it a little, because if you're watching on a mobile phone that may be a little bit more difficult for you. Okay, that's where I want to get to. So we have room for one or even two more candles before the price is going to break outside of this wedge over here. So that's 2 weeks. Here, October 27th, the week of the 1, 2, 3, 4. So this another wedge, the second wedge over here, we have roughly 3 to 4 weeks time, and to be honest, a lot of times the breakout doesn't wait till that tip to happen. That's why we're likely only having 3 weeks left before the breakout event is going to show up. If we quickly check the Bollinger Band Curve squeeze before we get back to the Wyckoff stages, we're seeing this. For me, this is absolutely a squeeze over here. So you see the purple actually touching the orange. And this purple, the bottom edge, has never left the orange since April. That's a very long time and a very flat bottom over here. Let's say it's a good sign for the bulls team. If you are like bullish for Casper, I would say that's a positive for you, not only because of that flat channel line at the bottom, but also this higher and higher low. So hopefully it doesn't come back to do a spring to scare people out before the price shoots up. So remember, 2 weeks from now, the first breakout, that may mean a price to head back to test the red level, and maybe even this edge as well, this light blue edge as well. So a candle may go up to this point and eventually may bounce off and then really breaks out from there. Yeah, so it's all going to happen within this month. And let's take a look at the Wyckoff stages. So we have gone through all these automatic rally, sign of strength, 2 more tests after the selling climax. That's the lower test that we don't want to see, and maybe there will be another sign of strength that's coming when the breakout eventually happens. There can be a subsequent stage. I don't need to put a percentage for that. That's the backup or last point of support period that follows, and eventually the PSY, preliminary supply, and then the buying climax. So it's taking longer than expected, but it seems Casper is getting there. Obviously, when we say this, it's not a 100% scenario. There is another chance that the community has completely abandoned Casper and is going to wiggle along this red key level of 1 cent. That's a very pessimistic scenario that I hope it's not going to be the case. So that's the big picture. We're waiting for this to jump outside of this wedge and eventually show us a distribution cycle. Let's go to the daily. again, let's remove all the drawings first and just quickly check this Bollinger Band corner squeeze. The squeeze has been going on, you see these large patches over here, right? Since mid-August, the daily has entered a declining squeeze. It's like interrupting or intermittently, but then for me it never stopped. Even there are no shades at the back at these points, the purple line is basically doing the twist and swivel within the around the orange line. So for me, the entire like 1.5 month is basically still having the squeeze going on. And let's switch that off since we have confirmed the squeeze is happening. This box is the one we've talked about just now, just to adjust it in the daily time frame so it covers all the wicks completely. So this, somewhere around October 20th, is the very tip of this current wedge. That's why I say it's probably not going to wait till that long. So in a week or two time, we would see the first breakout. And eventually, if the price challenges this red line, this red key level at around 1 cent, by the time we get to the end of the first week of November, if the price really doesn't go above the red by then that's another time point for breakout. But then those are just the two. There's also the third one that I'm seeing. So this is the first one, this is the second one. The other way it can happen is when the price breaks out, it also goes through the red key level of 1 cent and eventually trades within this triangle and heading towards the third time point in the chart. That's near October 26th or 25th. So when that happens, that's also one way the price can break outside of this wedge, this bigger blue wedge over here. So that's a bullish thinking to have it to break towards the upside. It can, unfortunately, in a scenario where it makes people happy, people started clapping, the bullish people start to think it's going to go up. But then the big guys say not to celebrate too early. It shoots down just to get to this third time point we talk about near the first week of November. So that's also a possible scenario. So it's still going to take a bit of time before that happens. So I'm just illustrating what can happen when that really comes. So this spring over here for the Wyckoff pattern, we're definitely into a spring. The last spring we had was back in April this year, same year. Again, one spring higher than the other. Hopefully that's giving the bullish people enough confidence that it's on the right track. We talk about, would it come down for another test, or is it going to go towards the backup last point of support? It really shoots up to another sign of strength. I have to move this further down the timeline now because it basically has been continuing this kind of horizontal but downward movement, but the range is narrowing. You see this gap over here. The lows are getting higher every single day. Ideally, it's going to shoot all the way to this sign of strength and eventually do a horizontal platform before it shoots to the distribution cycle. We already have the PSY tag added long time ago. It's time to move them further down the timeline. See, we were expecting kind of like January time frame. If it really shoots up that crazy, it still can happen, but just we have to wait. to see how crazy this is. It can take time. That goes all the way into February, but it can shoot up real quick and do a quick distribution and then finish off with that even quicker, much like what we have seen here. From the first lick up in April, it finishes in May. So late April to late May, that's only 1 month time. Within that 30 days, the entire distribution has finished, just half a year ago. Quickly back to weekly to see whether I've missed out anything. It seems like, yeah, we're just waiting for the next 2 to 3 weeks for the breakout to happen, and fingers crossed for long-term supporters of Casper. Wish you good luck. Remember, no matter how bullish you are or bearish you are, whichever side you pick, always set a stop loss. Safe trading. See you in tomorrow, I think. Yeah. Bye.